All right, guys, so of course I'm over here at the school on a Sunday and nobody's here because it's Sunday. I'm here trying to get ready and there's some clown pulling up, so. Give the brakes a quick little test. Feels good. And hopefully the angle's good for you guys. One thing I want to call out, I've been hesitant to post these riding videos because the wind noise is just so terrible. I didn't have a sock or a wind sponge on the thing, and I ended up getting another one. And the reason why I got rid of the other one, it started to tear and all that stuff, so now I've got one that hopefully that helps cut down a lot of the wind noise that you guys have been hearing on a lot of my videos. I'm gonna head out to the main road. This is 17 or Madison Pike, depending on who you are, how you like to say things. So. Merging here nicely with traffic. So I'm heading against the wind. So this would be a good testing opportunity to see how much of that wind noise is coming through, because there's a pretty strong headwind here. You can definitely feel it. Doing about 17. Speed limit on this road for cars is 55. It's 2 lanes each direction with center turn lane. But this is probably one of the safer stretches of road that I'm comfortable riding on, just because it's a little bit wider. There's actual dedicated bike lanes for the pretty good length of it. So there's a quick look at the bike. So it's in its final form to date. We've got tubeless wheels, tires. It's set up tubeless. Back to the point, right? Bike's in its final form. Basically what we have here is a $250 frame build. Everything is been swapped out with the exception of the seat, the handlebars, and as of yesterday the tires were still original, but now that's been changed as well. So gives it a little bit more of an aggressive look with these all black tires. Same profile, 700 by 40C, and these are the Maxxis Ramblers. These are tubeless ready. I think when I originally ordered these, I actually tried to get these in tan wall, but they sent me the all black version. I just went with it. These tires have performed great for me on the road. They're slightly less knobby than the Kendas. Time will tell how well they last on the road. Eventually, obviously, they're gonna wear out, but for now, they're gonna do the job. So we're gonna head across the street here when we can get a clear path. Try to cross 4 lanes. We're gonna head over into that development over there. They've got a little bit of mix. They've got some of it paved. They've got some of it still with gravel. There's a bit of dirt over there. There's all kinds of little areas where we can test the capabilities of the bike, where I did that a couple weeks ago in the stock form and it performed perfectly fine, as you would expect. No issues. It worked. It did what it needed to do. All that stuff. Just looking at my quick link there. So it reminds me of a guy with a nice set of teeth and then he's got one gold tooth. That's just what I think about when I see that. So I'm gonna head over there, give it a shakedown on all those different types of things, and then I'll finish my ride on the road because that's where I'm gonna be 99% of the time. But just for you guys, we're gonna do a bit of gravelish, dirt mix, hybrid riding over there and see how it goes. So hopefully the sound is coming through better with the wind being blocked. But yeah, let's get on with it and see what we can do. By the way, this Camelback podium, double wall 18/8 stainless steel. bike bottle. Freaking amazing. Okay, so I filled this up early this morning with cold water and a mix of electrolytes, and I just let it sit on the counter all morning, and while I was doing the bike tire change and all that, and then I'm out here on my ride a few hours later and it's still cold. So I'm really digging that bottle. The only thing that's kind of a downside to it, but kind of to be expected, is the fact that it, you know, it gets all scratched up going in and out of the bottle cages. The plastic bottle cages are probably going to be a lot more friendly on the finish, but I do have a metal cage on the Roscoe, and that really chewed it up on just on the first ride. The first few times taking it in and out, it was already suffering some scratches. So that's something to consider, especially on this first bit of gravelish. Not bad. Tires are a bit firm, but I did that on purpose because there's a bike right there. A little kid's pedal bike or push bike, balance bike. I put 45 PSI on purpose in these tires for two reasons. One, I'm going to be riding mostly the pavement. Two, it's a good gauge to get the tire on when you're doing your initial sealing of the tubeless setup, and it's a number that I can remember. So if I go to check the tire tomorrow, I can remember, hey, I put 45 in here, now I'm down to 30 or 35 or whatever it is, and kind of gauge how much air I've lost over the night, which I don't anticipate I'll lose any at all. You know, maybe just a super small amount that you won't even notice. I'm confident that these are going to stick at around 45. I'll add to and take away as needed, but initially this feels pretty okay. This is a little bit greater diameter chunky stuff than gravel. It's kind of like rock, but that handled it just fine. So the gearing ratio is going to be the biggest concern for some people with this 105 conversion. The thing that you got to remember, everybody's going to have a different use case on this bike. Everybody's going to be doing something a little different. Some people are buying this for the fact that it's a gravel bike, and they're actually going to go out and do gravel riding on it. For me, this is as close to gravel riding as I can get around here. If I happen to find a construction site that's in the later stages of the development, when they start putting in the roads and throwing down the rock layers and stuff like that, this is as close to gravel as I can get. Everything else around here is either road or trail. And I have taken drop bar bikes, rigid bikes over to the trails. I took the Poseidon X Ambition over there, and it did fine. It did freak me out a little bit initially because, you know, you're riding those areas or those trails with suspension, and then all of a sudden you throw a rigid bike on there with mechanical disc brakes, drop bars, and you don't know how to like navigate the trails. So it did fine. It was a little sketchy in some portions on the descents, especially. That's something that I want to ride all the time, a drop bar bike out on the single track. Probably not. Number one, it's way too rough on your body. Number two, I got trail bikes, right? I think for me, this bike is going to be the intermittent times when I can't make it out to the trails and stuff like that. I'll be able to get on this, throw some miles in. Like today, I didn't want to go to the trails. I have this bike. I can just grab it, throw it in the back of the truck, go a couple miles up the road, park at the school, get in some road miles, and be done with it. So here's the part where I was talking about. I brought it over here on the initial shakedown with all the stock setup, and this is pretty chunky, this is pretty sketchy, and down at the bottom there's a little bit of water, it looks like, accumulating down there. So I'll probably make it down and then try to go over onto that side and see how it performs in more of that dirt environment. So I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but across the way there, it looks like it's all pretty flat dirt. Over here, it's more rocks and pavement that they've already got completed. So down here, I'm gonna go down this as carefully as I can because I don't want to go over the bars. Let's see how it goes. You got to pick your line wisely, obviously, at any type of thing. So already I was kind of bucked off to the side there. I'm going to take it real easy. These hydraulic disc brakes on here, super good for this kind of stuff. You can kind of modulate it a little bit better than the mechanicals. But I didn't want to go too fast down here because look at this. It's like a little septic tank of water. So I'm going to carefully climb over this by foot because I don't want to get wet. And then this is a slight incline, not as extreme as this one over here. So this one, I don't know what the degrees would be. I don't have a way to measure that. I'm going to try to get up this. I'm currently in 3rd gear and in the small ring up front. I'll probably be able to get up here fine. But like somebody commented the other day, if you're doing cross country, the gearing at this 105, probably going to be too hard. It'll be okay for the occasional climb like this where you're doing that once. But if you're doing it continuously, eventually you're going to get tired of, the gearing. It's not going to be efficient on the climbs. But for this kind of stuff, absolutely. Feels okay. It's a little shaky. You're gonna get blended up. Your arms are gonna feel it. But yeah, definitely doable. I don't want to end up in some false mud. You know what false mud is? It's stuff that looks like it's dry, but really it's only dry on the surface. But just underneath, it's sticky, disgusting, grippy, flippy. And what I mean by that is if you get caught in it with your front wheel, you're gonna go over the bars because your wheel is gonna stop as soon as you hit that wet part. So this is kind of what I'm talking about here. You can see, and I had ran into this one time on the Axum a few years ago. It's dry. Oh, there's some deer over there. It's dry on the top, on this outer area, but then you see in the middle, it's still wet. So probably more than likely that outside area where it looks dry, it's probably wet underneath. If you roll your tire in that, it's gonna stop you dead in your tracks, guaranteed. And it's gonna be a sticky, dirty mess to clean up. Let's see if I can get up this. Yep, no problem. No problem at all. And that was the 1st gear. So obviously you don't want to do that a whole bunch. But in a pinch like that, you come across a lot like this and you want to just fart around in it for a bit, and there's a little bit of a climb somewhere, definitely doable on this 105. I like it the way it is. Some people are going to have heartburn about it. The fact that I completely took away the original intent of the bike, which, yeah, maybe I did, but I think that that's fine, right? I think everybody, and I've said this multiple times by now, everybody's gonna have a different vision for what they want this bike to be when they go and do their upgrades and they're getting their parts in, they're ordering stuff, they're having ideas. We're bouncing ideas off of each other through the group and on the comments and YouTube. I saw a guy yesterday, he's in the Ozark Trail group. Hey, if you haven't joined that group, hop on over to Facebook. It's Ozark Trail G1 Adventure or Gravel Grinders, I think is what I called it. I'll throw a screenshot up here. You can search for it and request to join. I do have some questions. Apparently you can bypass the questions, so I don't know what the point of the questions are, but they're real simple. Yeah, go check it out, and then keep the comments coming here on the channel. Keep liking, keep subscribing. So that's gonna do it. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Unsubscribe if you're offended. You know, whatever. But we're all here to just have a good time and ride bikes. So thanks again. I'll see you next one. I'll see you on the next one, I should say. Not see you next one. Alright, let's see what we can get for speed over here. Nah, plop it into the large gear in the front. About, I don't know, probably 7th in the back. About 17 and a half. Not super hard, it's a slight incline. We'll go down, maybe try to drop the gear, see if we can't get up to like 22 on this descent here. So now I'm in the hardest gear that I have, going against the wind. 20, 21, 23, 24. So about 24 on that quick little burst of downhill going against the wind.